Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure tonight. Happy Friday, November 15th, the day that everything that could go wrong before I started the stream did. On that note, let's go ahead and jump into the studio now and get ready for this. Okay, folks, if there's anyone who was in the back before, who had to leave, and now you're coming back in, come on back in again. We got this together. I had to go ahead and reset up everything with Google Chrome and for Google Meet and all that kind of fun stuff. Mike is on hiatus on a freaking phone call right now from hell, and hopefully he will get here soon. The people in the back are joining. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we've got an interesting show here today. Interesting day, interesting week. Hopefully everybody enjoyed what was going on with the hearing it all. And gosh, where in the heck did I do with the chat? I can't even see who's here. But wait, we did get a super chat coming in from Laura Campbell. On that note, let me go ahead and find all my good stuff here, like my sound effects package. Yeah. What do you call it? X stopped working today with the Brave browser for some reason. It kept on logging me out, logging me back in, logging me out, logging me back in, an endless cycle. And I couldn't click the UI to tell it I just wanted to sign in. Tried clearing the cookies, tried upgrading the browser, nothing. It's one of those days. I know,
hey,
I just have to breathe. Just have to breathe.
Thomas, you got to check the link that you have up in the chat. I don't think it's working because I couldn't get in with it.
Yeah, it's missing the www.
Okay.
I was going to tell you, but I thought I'd just let it all settle down.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Unpinned message. There we go. It's fixed. Thank you. Yeah, it was horrible. Nanya, it was freaking horrible. If anything that could go wrong, did.
But it's okay, Thomas. We all can just sit there and wait. Just breathe. We're not going anywhere.
I can't breathe. I'm too hot. I can't breathe. I'm stressing out. This flannel's getting to me. The furnace is on too high, and it's too cold outside. Holy crap, it is 39 degrees out here in the Pacific Northwest. Ooh, that is cold. No wonder why. It's clear and cloudy, and there's a supermoon is coming up right now. How about that? On that note, let's go ahead and let the rest of the people in the back, and let me go ahead and let's find out who in the heck, where's our audience? They're around here somewhere. Hey, sound effects still work. How about that? Let's go ahead and do this. Who in the heck do we have out? Oh, but wait. I've got to do one more thing. I've got to get my chat up and going. I don't have my chat system up. 2000. All right. Is it there? First of all, I want to thank. It's not here. I can't show up. But Laura Campbell started off tonight with a $20 super chat. Holy cow. Thank you very much, Laura. I greatly appreciate that. On that note, let's go ahead and see who we have in our audience, who's in the chat right now, because the chat is where it's at. It's one of the free things we can give you besides this show. Yes, you can go ahead and subscribe to the show and join the chat. The chat is definitely where it's at. Let me go ahead and see who the heck we have out there. All right, we have Andy W. all the way from the United Kingdom. Anonymous Rex from Oregon. Donald Harris, Eric Roth, and the Gurus just popped in, along with Fernando Suavo. We got Firefly, Frank Einstein, Holly Potter. Where's Harry? Kathy is here, along with Kelly Broughton, those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you. She was the first person here today. King Bull's around, along with Laura Campbell, Lynn 60, Ms. Cussout, Neil Morgan, Peggy and her South Florida friend, Shermanator Osborne, Stephen Forbes Jr., along with Syrup just popped in, and the Chromosome Cowboy. And would you look at that? We've got the one, the only, Mr. Tom Whitmore's here. Good to see you, Tom. All right, let's move on.
A lot of good people tonight, Thomas.
What was that, Mike?
I said a lot of good people are in tonight. It's going to be a fun show.
Including you, my friend. Thanks for popping in.
As soon as possible. Yes, sir.
Well, on that, yeah, we're late today. We're really late getting things started. Technology caused some problems, some delays. Welcome to live streaming.
That's usually the case. Exactly.
On that note, let's go ahead and welcome in. It's that time of the night, friends, when we go ahead and welcome in our panel in the back. First, let's go ahead and turn that down and welcome in our friend coming all the way from the United Kingdom. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Andy W. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, we're all decorated here again.
Nice. God, has it been a year already?
No, so it's my youngest half birthday tomorrow. She's like now the king. She has 2 birthdays a year.
Oh, no.
Christmas Eve baby.
Yeah.
So we're celebrating tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. How nice. How nice. Thanks for coming in, Andy. Always is a wonderful time to have you here.
My pleasure.
Also in the back, we have the person who gave us a $20 super chat. Let's welcome in, coming from the upper Midwest, our remote viewing targeter, Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going better than you, Thomas. I hope the rest of the night goes without any glitches.
If it can go wrong, it will. And now just for the people in the back, when I play audio, you might hear a little bit of an echo going on. That's okay. I'll turn it off. I'll turn off the echo when we're done playing the video. It's the only way we're going to be able to play video tonight. So let's have some fun with it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in, Laura. Also our friend coming from the great state of Canada, the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Michael Sokoloff. How's it going, Michael? Well, moving along down the line. Let's go to our dear friend. There you go, Michael. Good to have you here, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Also here, looks like we've got another one of our friends, Ms. Cuss Out. How's it going, Cuss Out?
It's going great. I'm looking forward to the show tonight, and I hope you don't have too many technical difficulties.
Yes,
from
please,
now on.
Yes, please stand by.
Yes, stand by.
Thank you for coming in, my dear friend. Next down the list, let's turn the world upside down and put our sights on Australia. The voices definitely sound different from Australia to New Zealand, I can tell, because we've got Susan Ford here. How's it going, Susan?
Oh, really good, Thomas. Obviously, as Lara said, better than you, but, we're all here and shit happens, Shit just happens.
Breathe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, let's take a look down the list. Who do we have next? We've got Rick Roberts. How's it going, Rick?
Hello, Thomas. I can hear you good.
Good to have you here, my friend.
It comes perfect. I was just kidding. Hello.
Hey, great to have you, my friend. Also, next coming down the line, let's welcome in our dear friend from the East Coast, Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
It's going good, Thomas. Thank you for letting me in the back.
Oh, you're welcome. And someone who's already put his hand up because I haven't even counted on him yet. Looks like Corporal Abe just popped in. How's it going, Abe?
Good morning. Good evening. I was asleep trying to recover from the hearing because it was in the middle of the night, and I'm awake now, and I'm happy to be here. Love you guys.
Great to have you here, my friend. Thanks for coming in. Let's turn that music on and put our attention to Mike, Disclosure. How the heck you doing, my friend?
Oh, doing well. Very busy, as I know you're well aware of. I also want to thank Rick Roberts for the super chat that he sent in. $10.
We actually just got 2 in. We had one come in from Rick Roberts say, "So who are you rooting for tonight, Logan or Tyson?" That's
Tyson.
Tyson.
Yeah. Yep. That's where my money's at.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
It's going to be fun.
Logan looks like he's pretty well built at this point. We'll see how much he holds up.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun either way. But my money's on Tyson.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We'll see where it goes, one step or the other. All right. We also had another super chat coming in from FreezerMan71. Great work this week, Thomas, and so grateful for Disclosure tonight. Thank you very much, FreezerMan71, and thanks for being a part of the show. Absolutely. So, wow. What a hearing we had.
It was interesting.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. Very much so. Oh, we're going to have an interesting one here tonight, folks. And I got to make sure this is not going to come across twice. Let me just play a little audio clip here. Oh, this is not it. I have to play an audio clip from something on Twitter. No, that's not going to do it. Let me go for you. Give me a second. There'll be a video clip here coming in a second. I just need to get some audio.
Aliens, AI, humanity. aliens, AI, humanity, and an Earth.
Okay, so I got that. Let me get down to web, turn that off. That will get rid of the double echo. All right, so the audience won't hear an echo. The people and our friends in the back will hear it. So I guess I'm still catching up, Mike, from everything going wrong before the show started.
No, I get it. It'll be fine.
Oh, it should be. It should be. It should be. Let me get to X, get to the interface. Let me get to my wonderful, trusty, dusty bookmarks. Oh, get past all those messages from Ivan. We'll get to that one first. Well, it looks like UAP James, thank God, has a bunch of great video clips on coming on the hearing. First one we're going to be seeing is going to be coming from ABC News and their coverage. Yes, some lamestream media did end up covering the hearing. Not as good as we would have liked, but you know what? At least they're talking about it out in the public. So on that note, let's get this first clip up here, and let's go ahead and turn it on for the back so they can hear it. Google. Oh, no, I need to get to... You're on Meet Audio. Give me a second. LLLM. Meet Audio. Put that there. Let me go to Chrome. Come on, scroll. You can do it. Google Chrome. Turn that down. All right, let's get on to this first video clip going on here. All right, desktop. Document. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get this up, and I should be able to go ahead and go to full in a second. Oh, it's going to work, and I can hide myself. Let's go ahead and get this first clip coming up from our friends over at ABC News. All right, here let me get rid of myself here. Make myself go first. Nope, not that one. That one can go, actually, and this one here. Here we go.
The new report now from the Pentagon about unidentified flying objects. There were hundreds of new reported sightings over the last year, and some the government still can't explain. Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz joins us with the details. It's quite the talker. Martha, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. It does. It all sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, but these unidentified airborne objects are taken very seriously by the Pentagon and the intelligence community. And this morning, their new report...
I'm sorry. It's taken seriously? Well, the people in the back are saying there's no audio, probably because you're on the wrong microphone. No, you're on the right one. Meet Audio. You should be getting something in the back coming from Chrome. You complained about it before and said, let me get to on Meet Audio, get this to here in the back again. I'm at a point where I'm just going to say I don't fucking care. G. Here, let me turn it really loud, guys. Hopefully you'll hear it now. One more time. On.
The new report now from the Pentagon about unidentified flying...
And it's not capturing it.
Nope, we're not hearing a sound back here.
Fuck. Sorry.
It's fucking
well,
Friday.
Too fucking bad. Give me a second here. No idea why it's not showing up.
Well, don't worry about us in the back. Just play it for the audience in the front.
No, give me a second here. We need to be able to talk about this shit. So I'm going to cover, if we're going to cover this right, let's take that there, put this over here. It'll just take a little bit longer. And hopefully. All right, everybody can hear this shit now. But I need to go back over here, put web back up. Here we go, everybody.
The new report now from the Pentagon about unidentified flying objects. There were hundreds of new reported sightings over the last year, and some the government still can't explain. Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz joins us with the details. It's quite the talker. Martha, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. It does. It all sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, but these unidentified airborne objects are taken very seriously by the Pentagon and the intelligence community. And this morning, their new report revealing that these sightings are on the rise.
Navy pilots have seen them.
My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
More than 1,600 unidentified flying objects have been reviewed by the government's Anomaly Resolution Office, or arrow over the years, 98% of them eventually found to be debris, drones, or even large birds. But new numbers this morning from May of 2023 to June of 2024 show 757 new sightings, with 21 of them that cannot be explained. And all 21 mysterious objects were seen near national security sites, witnessed by multiple people or captured on sensors or videos. While the Pentagon does not know what they were, they are quick to steer the public away from little green men.
To date, the department has discovered no verifiable evidence of extraterrestrial beings, activity, or technology.
But at a hearing this week, the former head of the Pentagon program investigating these objects says nothing should be ruled out.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes. Let me be clear. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations.
While Pentagon officials do stress that they have no evidence of any of this being alien technology, they have not ruled that out and are continuing to investigate every unexplained sighting.
There we go. That's our first news clip. It's a good, oh God, let me get back to video desktop document. I need to turn myself back on here again. Here we go. Interesting conversation, Mike. You know, I guess this is, I jumped the gun on this one a little bit, talking about the new Arrow report that just came out right after the hearing. You know, you have to go ahead, Mike, and look at this and take a look at the situation and say, boy, did they time the release of that Arrow report pretty interestingly. It seemed they wanted to wait until the hearing in the House, until the hearing happened, and then bam, they bring it out with their disinformation. We shall confirm nothing approach.
We ain't found, how does that go, Thomas?
We ain't found shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More of the same, like you used to get from Kirkpatrick all the time.
However, I have to put it out there. Everyone has been chasing after the DOD, the DOD, the DOD. However, it's not really the DOD who's been covering this up. They're just a party to this. The real person or the real office that's been covering it up. I'll say it one more time. It's what I've been saying for a long time here. It's the executive branch. It's the office of the President of the United States. Everyone has always said, oh, the presidents don't know anything. Apparently, they know a lot more than they have in the past. And I think we may have a good chance of getting something out of them more in the next 4 years than we have in the last 4 years. Your thought, Mike?
Well, can you say the words White House Special Access Program? Because
wasn't that
that's a thing.
But wasn't that first mentioned by Gillibrand?
A White House Special Access Program?
Yeah. I think
No. It was mentioned by the press secretary, that woman that was doing a lot of the briefings. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, she was the one that first mentioned that term. And then during the hearing, Lou, when questioned by one of the congressmen about his background, explained that he testified that he was involved in a White House Special Access Program under the National Security Council, which is an advisory group directly to the President of the United States.
Yeah.
So, of course, the President and the executive branch, the White House, knows exactly about these programs and what's going on. So, yeah, that the truth is starting to come out now to the public of all the things that they've been hiding, including programs like this, directly not from the DOE or the DOD, right from the White House, their own special access programs. Who knew? But now they're talking about it. So I find that very interesting. It means that what you've been saying all along about the executive branch knowing more than they're saying, that's obviously true.
Well, not just about knowing what they haven't been saying, because honestly, we haven't heard shit from the current president of the administration except go talk to Barack, meaning one of the former presidents of the United States, about it, because our current president, who has an unbelievable chance, he's in a lame duck presidency for the next about 2 months, give or take, a little bit less than 2 months.
January 20th, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got an unprecedented opportunity if he wants to skunk the Trump. He could bring out the data now and share it with everybody, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, no, that's absolutely not going to happen.
No. We wish it would. We wish it would. But remember, disclosure is supposed to be a bipartisan effort. So let's hope the Democrats come to the table this time and everybody else. Let's bring it all together because we've got a great chance. A great chance. Not that I'm saying it's going to happen 100%, but we've got a great chance to bring disclosure forward this time around.
Exactly. Maybe the new administration will do something that the previous administrations failed to do. I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see. But, we got, I think, a better chance now with the incoming administration than we've had for the past seveul previous administrations.
Yeah, I think we've got an administration coming up who's willing to go ahead and document those aliens.
Or try to deport them. Either or.
Yeah, well, they are flying over our southern border. We covered that on the election day. Yes, there were UFOs coming over the southern border into the United States in a spaceship.
No, no, you're right. So maybe the new administration will actually try to do something to send them back where they came from.
Maybe
that would be interesting too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. On our next on next clip, we've got Michael Schellenberger hanging out with our friends over at News Nation. Let's see where this clip is going to take us, folks. Let me get this back up. I've downloaded a bunch of video clips here to make my life easier. Thank God on that one. Let's jump to it.
Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger was the first person to report on an alleged government UAP program with the catchy name Immaculate Constellation. It's a program that the Pentagon denies exists, but Schellenberger says not only is that program real, but it's amassed a treasure trove of evidence.
If I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list, maybe a FISA warrant. So come at me, bro, I guess.
I think that what the American people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
high res,
high resolution.
How many visuals, graphics, videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds, maybe thousands.
All right, Michael Schellenberger joins me now. Great to have you here. Just on what you were just saying in your testimony, have you actually seen these high-res images of these UFOs, or have you just been told they exist?
No, I have not seen anything other than what's been released before and some of the things that you showed. But I have spoken, it's not just to a single source, but multiple sources that say that these databases exist. And as the report that was released today by Congresswoman Nancy Mace, the chairwoman of the committee, that report actually links those images, both the still images and the video images, with some of the psychological and physical effects of different shaped UAPs. I think that's one of the most interesting things that came out of the hearing.
Which was what? The different shapes?
Well, yeah, and the sort of analysis that connects different UAP shapes to different experiences that people report in having contact with them. So you're seeing really the marriage. The idea here is that the Immaculate Constellation, which is an unacknowledged special access program, actually has the analysis that combines both the human experiences but also the physical characteristics of these craft or these UAP.
So we just heard Lou Elizondo, when questioned, say under oath, say, yes, there's a program that exists, for a secret program that exists, and yes, they have managed to get crashed aircraft and take the remains of that aircraft to study. When we first heard David Grush here on News Nation, he did it for the first time, say that this program existed, everybody thought he was crazy. And, then slowly, more people, they keep coming up with the same story, the same reporting, something you yourself say you have also confirmed. And yet the Pentagon just stands there and says it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think it's also, there's one concern, which is a legitimate concern, which is that there may be circular reporting here where, in other words, you might be getting from one source, you might think you have a second source, but if that second source gets it from the same first source, I'm confident that that did not happen in my reporting on Immaculate Constellation. I have multiple sources and also sources that came forward after my report. I also reported on a pretty stunning description of orbs, one orb coming out of the ocean about 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait, being joined by another orb, high-definition video shot from a helicopter, not any sort of top-secret technology filming that. So I just think there's a lot of people that have come forward now at this point that this is not circular reporting, this is not just folklore. The Pentagon is clearly covering something up. I mean, you don't even need this report. I mean, both President Trump and former President Barack Obama have both stated that they've seen information that's not been released. And I just think the Pentagon is treating us like children. It's a very paternalistic attitude. They just need to release the information, obviously redact stuff to make sure that nothing gets out to our enemies, but we're long overdue for this sort of disclosure and transparency to occur.
Michael, what do you think, based on all of your investigative reporting, the Pentagon is doing with this reverse engineering program? Are they looking at some sort of weapon, at some sort of defense system?
I mean, that's my understanding of it, is that that it would make sense that the military, if it's capturing some sort of material or some sort of craft, that they'd be looking to, turn it into some sort of weapon or, or defensive. I honestly don't know. And I also don't know what UAPs are, and I don't claim to know. But I'm very confident that the Pentagon and the intelligence community are hiding a lot of information about UAPs. I think that's very well established at this point. I mean, we have a lot of evidence and a lot of people, including heads of state, former heads of the United States, that have said that. Former intelligence community officials, both on the right and the left. I mean, this was an incredibly bipartisan group today. So I think that there's been a lot of questions about, like, what are UAPs? And that's fascinating. And of course, that's important. But it's well established now that the military and the intelligence community are hiding a significant amount of data that they have an obligation under the Constitution to report to Congress. And I think they also have a moral obligation, and perhaps a legal one as well, to make that information available to the public.
Well, in I'll be honest, the questions from the panel of congressmen today was far more pointed, sharp, and informed than it was last time.
Yeah, I mean, I get a sense, these are members of Congress that have heard testimony behind closed doors, testimony in secured, compartmentalized facilities. They know there's something there. They don't like the fact that they're being, prevented from doing their job, which is an oversight job. They're protected right there in the Constitution itself. So, I think there's been a lot of people are sort of like, show us something new, and it's up to the journalists and the whistleblowers to tell us what the UAPs are. That's, there's significant repercussions and consequences for whistleblowers, and there's just limits to what you can do without having an executive branch that's obeying the Constitution and making these things visible. I think that's why you need a proper transparency and disclosure movement, not just on UAPs, but on so many other things that have been kept secret for too long.
Yeah, and Lou Elizondo actually urged Congress to pass legislation that would protect these whistleblowers so that people can come forward and say what they know without suffering repercussions. Michael Schellenberger, fascinating to watch that hearing today. Thanks so much for being on tonight, too. Independent.
All right. So quickly on that one, just to recap on this one, coming out of the hearing, Michael Schellenberger had, get back to desktop. Let's go away here. Michael Schellenberger, if you remember, Mike, during the hearing, actually it was stated that there was an attachment that came from, I believe, Schellenberger that was about Immaculate Constellation that was entered into the record by Nancy Mace. And we covered that right after the election happened. We actually got more people watching the coverage of that document, Mike, than we actually had watching the
hearing.
Not the hearing, the election, the hearing as well. So along those notes, there was a mistake in where they said this was coming from, or where people assumed it was coming from. The document source itself was from none other than Jeremy Corbell.
Correct.
So it's not like it was from Schellenberger, who had gotten the document, is from his whistleblower, that is supposedly been provided to Congress in confidence or in private, you call it. But the document that we went over came from Corbell, which kind of lowers, if you want to call it, the reality of the
credibility.
sources of where this thing actually came from.
It does. And it calls into question how accurate the information contained in that report really is.
True.
Because look at where it's coming from. So you're absolutely right about that. I think a lot of people were so focused on the hearing itself and everything that was going on during that hearing that this went over their head.
It did. Went over my head to a degree, and seeing where it was from and jumping the gun on that one. But I don't think there was any intention or malicious intent, for that matter, for someone to go out there and actually say, oh, we've got this document about Immaculate Constellation. We want to enter this into the record. It may have just been a slip of the tongue of someone now talking from a teleprompter.
Maybe. But if you remember, there was 11 pages entered into the congressional record that they made available publicly.
Yeah.
There was a missing 12th page, and that came out the following day. So that missing 12th page.
Well, you got to remember
basically
those 11 pages that were put out there weren't first put out there by Nancy Mace. They were actually released on Twitter by Michael Schellenberger.
Yes, he had put that information out there. But what my point is that the 12th page that was part of the 12 pages that was submitted by Corbell?
It wasn't the 12th page. It was the first page, the cover page that they didn't give us. They gave us pages 2 through 12, right? But they didn't give us the first page, page number 1.
And when you saw the first page, it really had nothing to do with any information in that report itself. It was a promotional piece.
Well, the person who held back that cover page, that was actually Michael Schellenberger, who didn't put that out there.
Well, if anyone that read that cover page would know why, just by simply reading it. Nothing but it was just promotion.
Yeah.
Coming from Corbell.
Yeah.
He was doing marketing, which he's very good at.
Oh yeah, he definitely does. We can't deny that. I mean, I've been saying this for the longest time. When it comes to the ET world and stuff about ETs, we could go ahead and safely say that Jeremy Corbell is the modern day UFO P.T. Barnum.
Exactly.
He'll say anything to get your attention. Come on in.
Right.
He's a promoter. He's a real estate agent. He does both. He promotes houses and UFOs, and he does films and everything else. So you have to be a promoter when you're in all those different lines of work.
Oh, absolutely. And what I found interesting about the promotion piece that was in that first page that Schellenberger had not submitted at the day of the hearing on the 13th was because Corbell was also saying that he's looking forward to being called by Congress to be able to come and testify. So he's pushing for them to now call him. And I have a feeling the reason that he's trying to push that door open is because they already had Schellenberger testify.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, well, hey, I'm a journalist, so why don't they have me sit up there and promote everything? So that's where he's coming from.
That's okay.
Why.
He was there. James Fox was there. You look at all the different people who were there, except the only person who actually put it out there was Jeremy Corbell. But the document he entered was into the congressional record, but it's not like he was sworn to the accuracy of that document or any statements that were made.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Lou was brought up in the last video. In this next clip we've got coming up, we've got Lou Elizondo, who joins Chris Cuomo following his testimony earlier that day in Congress. So let's go ahead and watch this next clip coming to us from Chris Cuomo on News Nation, of course. Where else would it be? Let's get to this. Here we go, folks.
Former military intelligence and counterintelligence officer Luis Elizondo joins us now. Thank you for making your witness today. I want the audience to know you're also author of Imminent: Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs. Luis, thank you for being with us.
Chris, thank you so much for having me.
So were you worried about what you were going to say today?
Yeah, absolutely. But I got to say, Chris, I think this was really a historic day for both Congress and for the American people. I think it was a win-win. This is now the second hearing on this topic that's been open to the public, and hopefully the public is now getting an understanding of how long our government has actually been involved in this topic despite decades of denial.
So, look, the pushback is they're no little green men. They don't have a spaceship from outside our solar system. All of these types of videos that I'm showing right now can be explained. Well, then what are they finding? This is what you did, and you're risking your reputation to come forward and speak what you say is the truth. So what do they know?
Well, Chris, first of all, I'm risking more than my reputation. I'm risking my security clearance and my ability to even earn a living. So I think it's important to know that we have absolutely been able to confirm the existence of some sort of technology that has the ability to operate with anonymity within our controlled U.S. airspace, operate over our sensitive military installations, and possibly interfere with our nuclear equities. Now, if that's not a national security concern, I don't know what is.
Now, that's why they say, so, okay, yeah, it's some other country or it's some other concern or corporate concern on Earth, and that's why they don't tell us, because it's too dangerous. What do you say to that?
So, Chris, let's look at this from a temporal perspective. Okay, we've been dealing with this for decades, and documents now have been submitted to Congress that prove without a shadow of a doubt, since the early 1950s, we've been dealing with this issue. And when I say dealing with this issue, I'm talking about objects that still to this day can operate beyond any type of performance characteristics of our modern aircraft. So I would say, look, if one were to say, well, maybe this is Russia or China today, okay, but that doesn't explain the 1950s and 60s where these aircraft were captured on radar doing 10,000, 13,000 miles an hour in a low Earth atmosphere. Okay, what we have in comparison pales. For example, the Lockheed YF-12A SR-71 can do about 3,200 miles an hour at an unclassified level, which is pretty fast. And when it wants to take a right-hand turn, it takes roughly half the state of Ohio to do that. And what we are seeing are objects that are doing 10,000, 13,000 miles an hour and are able to execute an immediate right-angle turn, do 180 degrees, pop in and out of our atmosphere, and even underwater. So where were we in the 1950s? Well, we had barely broken the sound barrier and hadn't even made it into space. What other near-peer country even existed at that point that to this day can perform like that? The answer is we can't. And if there was a country that could do that, Chris, this would be the greatest intelligence failure this country has ever faced, even eclipsing that of 9/11 by an order of magnitude, because despite the billions of dollars we pour in investment into our intelligence community, not a single thread of intelligence over the last 7 decades has given us an indication that some adversary has developed this technology in secret and been able to deploy it effectively.
And if they had it 7 decades ago, what would they be doing with it today? And nobody is, and that raises questions also. Mr. Elizondo, anytime you want to talk, anytime there are developments, or there should be and there have not been, you have an open invitation.
Thank you, Chris. My honor and privilege. Thank you very much.
There we go, Mike. A recap of Lou Elizondo on the evening after the hearing. I think he said it pretty well, uncovered the major points about where we've been going. But then again, you'll listen to any of the different questions and answer sessions we get from Lou, or anything about his book, that's about close to the same place where we're at with the hearing.
It is, but what I found interesting is when Lou was talking about that these objects are possibly interfering with our nuclear assets. So last time I checked, and we had Bob Salas here on the show, there's no possible about it. They absolutely interfered with our nuclear assets. So I don't know why he's being vague about that.
Is it maybe because it's not in his book, or the government's preventing him from talking about that? Remember, Lou still has security clearance, like he said. He still relies on his security clearance for employment, which means they still have strings to potentially pull him on what he can or can't talk about.
I have never heard of an NDA that ever would stipulate that you cannot discuss public information. Doesn't make sense to me, because what we're talking about right now is obviously public, not classified. So he can't speak about that?
I
Why
can't
the
answer
hell
that.
not?
I can honestly answer that, Mike. Maybe you can ask him December 18th.
It may be.
Yeah.
That'll be one of many questions that we can bring up to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found that a little odd. That's all. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
you know, everyone should look at all this stuff. We have to take this from the objective eye. We have to look at it from the left, from the right, from the center, and take the big picture on it. Granted, if we see things from too far to the left, like King Milk Fart, or you see stuff too far to the right, like Rob Heatherly, you have to take some of these things and push it off to the side and not pay attention. Well, no, actually, King Milk Fart and Rob are on one side. I was talking about KM, what do you call it? RPK, Red Panaquala, and Tupacabra.
Yes, that's right. The other side of the aisle.
The other side. You're going to have one side or the other, and here, like, you've got the heavy Republicans, or actually the Democrats or the Republicans, kind of. Just saying. Two sides of the coin. The people who are in denial of disclosure and the people who are supporting disclosure. But wouldn't you think both sides, whether they're for it or against it, it's not like it's two different parties that are running for office. It's one subject. And if it's just one frickin' subject, right? That means both parties could come together and say, you know what? I don't believe you, and I don't believe them. I want the truth. And the other people could say, I don't believe you, and I don't believe them. I want the truth. Wait a minute. You want the truth? You want the truth? Hell yeah, let's party. Let's have a drink, you know?
Right. They should be able to come together looking for the same goal, but obviously that's not the case. You know why? Because it isn't about disclosure. It's about personalities.
Yeah.
And that gets in the way. And whenever that's the case, that's why it becomes a shit show.
Right. Okay, really quick thing here to address Shermanator Osborne. If this is an executive branch cover-up, and it's going to require, I was thinking the same thing, Pete, and if it's going to require a president to declassify this stuff, that's politics.
Exactly. Expecting the government to make an announcement officially is a political thing.
Yeah. Wildcat Mahone brings up a good point. You can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's true.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, we'll talk a little bit about politics here or there because you can't get away from it in disclosure. Whether you have a president who supports it or who doesn't support it.
But when we do bring up politics and about disclosure, how it applies, it's a bipartisan point.
It has to be bipartisan. It has to be bipartisan.
Exactly.
And the way we look at it is we all want the truth, whether if you don't believe in UFOs or you do believe in UFOs. We all want to find out what the truth is no matter what. And the last people we can trust is the DOD. Just saying.
Or the DOE, right. Or the executive.
Yeah, seems to be any of the CIA. Oh, it seems like all those executive branches. It seems. Oh, that's it. We can't trust any part of of past executive branches. We'll just see how it is.
Well, the good news is with the new incoming administration, they're planning on cutting a lot of what the government has in place. Elon is going to be specifically in charge of that.
Oh yeah, it's twoo. It's twoo.
Right. That's right.
If any of you have ever watched Blazing Saddles, if you haven't, go watch it again. You'll understand.
That, or History of the World Part 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Good movies. Good movies.
Yes. Bernays. Let's get into here. Oh, yeah. It's right. Oh, yeah, I'm on my wine break. Oh, stand-up philosopher. Oh, bullshit artist. Oh, yeah. A lot of great lines. All right, let's get into our next video we've got coming up here. I digress. Let's have some fun. Next, we've got NBC News Now. Not sure how much we can trust them, but let's listen in. ABC News Now Nancy Mace talking about new testimony about the Immaculate Constipation Program. Constellation. Here we go.
South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. Those of us who've been following this very closely have been hearing whispers of the words Immaculate Constellation for a few months now. You went out and put it straight on the record. Why did you think that was important?
Well, it's important that if the Pentagon or other federal agencies hiding these programs that they deny from the American public, and yet we learn recently that it actually does exist, the American people ought to know the truth and the facts. There's so much that we have overclassified. You can't talk about the date of some of the alleged UAP imagery, for example. Some of the witnesses couldn't even describe what they've seen because of the way things have been overclassified. You can't talk about the budget for some of these programs because that's classified. We overclassify everything into what end? Does it really make America safer? I don't think so. And the American people deserve to know the truth.
It must have been very frustrating for you sitting up there and not being able to get a lot of those straight answers. Was for people that were watching it too. And then you posted this very mysterious report for the public to see with alleged details about Immaculate Constellation. What is in here is wild. I mean, and I'm paraphrasing, but reports of F-22s getting like boxed in by flying orbs that they couldn't shake. There were satellite images or satellite image of a football field-sized flying saucer hiding in clouds seen from this satellite looking down. Have you seen any of this footage or these images?
I have not seen those images or footage, but of course we're going to want to go digging for it in a skiff right after this. But the question I asked Michael Schellenberger, the journalist who was there testifying today, was when he wrote this report about the Immaculate Constellation, did he have more than one source? And the type of sourcing he used, he had multiple sources, they had clearances, they were very credible individuals, and that's really important detail when you're bringing forth this kind of information.
Absolutely. And Congresswoman, the testimony we heard today, I mean, it was suggesting that around the time that Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon helped get those black and white videos out in 2017, that's when this shadow program was spun up to kind of vacuum up all the data in a way that the public would not know. The allegation, if I understand it correctly, was that it was done out of the executive branch, which would have been President Trump at the time. The president right now, the president-elect seems to be appointing some pretty heavy hitters that have been demanding UAP transparency to his cabinet, like Rubio, Ratcliffe. What do you think we're going to see next year when Trump takes office on this?
I hope that we'll have the most transparent and accountable administration in U.S. history, not just for UAPs, but across the board with every single federal agency, because the American people overwhelmingly voted for the truth and voted for transformational changes within the federal government. And that should be one of them. Transparency should be a part of that. We had great witnesses today, including the Admiral Gallaudet, who said that, emails were deleted when they started talking about the UAPs that were witnessed on a ship when they were out and deployed at sea. So we learned a lot of information. We learned information that the government denies. They say there is no there. These things don't exist. But yet we learned today that there are federal employees and individuals injured by crashed craft retrieval programs and being paid by the government and compensated. So you can't tell me it doesn't exist, and yet you have people who've been harmed by retrieving craft and are being paid by the government for those injuries. So it doesn't add up, and we have a lot more to investigate. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, fingers crossed we'll get some solid answers. Last question really fast. I mean, we saw bipartisan curiosity here. Do you think that's going to continue?
Oh, I hope it does. And UAPs is a place where both Democrats and Republicans alike have come together to demand transparency, to demand government accountability. The other thing that we've been doing, too, is we've been working together to protect whistleblowers. There are people that have come forward since the last hearing. There will be more people that come forward, I hope, after this hearing. And we're doing our best to protect those individuals, Democrat and Republican alike.
Interesting conversation. Sorry, everybody. I'm just trying to find the next clip. Mike, your thoughts about Nancy's conversation?
No, Nancy is right. She's pointing out all the obvious obstacles of the government releasing information about this topic. The question I have is she going to be able to move forward and make any headway? That still remains to be seen. But like you said, it's not going to be able to have one branch like the legislative be able to do all of this on its own. If it doesn't get backing by the executive branch, it'll never happen. Right, Thomas?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the executive branch is definitely where it's going to have to be able to get this truth to come out. Now, I think this should be the right clip. Sue me if I got it wrong, or I'll give you a refund on your subscription cost, Mike.
Double your money back guarantee.
Double your money back
Correct.
guarantee. I think in this next clip, since we kind of brought up about people getting injured from UAP, I've got a clip here coming from Vinny at Disclosure Team. Should be able to see where it just popped up right now. And this is where Vinny is interviewing Dr. Gary Nolan, who admits that he forgot about including results in one of his studies that included someone from the federal government, or someone, I think from the federal government or military, something to that extent, who had received injuries to the brain, equivalent to like what they're seeing from military people who've been close to UAPs and had the damage to their brain, except this one was from some kind of gravitational research company. Gee, I wonder what kind of anti-gravitational research they could be looking at, Mike.
That's a good point, Thomas. Anti-gravity is very, we should play this clip.
Yeah, but before I get to that, Andy W., you had your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, I did. I was just going to say how I'm hoping, for the next hearing that Nancy Mace chairs it again. I don't think she pulled any punches. She didn't seem to, be too worried about upsetting people in the deep state and the military-industrial complex.
Right.
So I hope she. Yeah, I was quite encouraged. I know Mike wasn't too encouraged over the hearing. I was personally. I think it was a far stronger one than the first hearing. And yeah, I think it's now you've got your new governmental system setting up at the moment with your up and coming new president. It looks like a lot of the people he's putting in charge in a lot of these departments are pro-disclosure.
Yeah.
And I think this was a really strong step, this hearing.
Yeah. Oh, I think so as well. So great points, Andy, all the way around. It's just one of those things we have to take it step by step. And, even if you get, I just saw that, Tim, even if you get, how do you put this? Even if you get served lemons, lots of lemons, don't make lemonade. Invest in a little bit of vodka. Make some lemon drops. You'll have the housewives lining up to give you $10 a glass instead of hoping to get people to give you a quarter a glass for lemonade.
Exactly. Good point.
Exactly. All right. Let's play this little clip here. Here we go.
I'd like to start with one from Josh on X. He said, many noticed that the image shared of the Havana syndrome patient's brain identified the person as holding a prominent position, with the contractor allegedly doing gravity research for the Department of Energy. Are you able to expand on that at all?
Okay, I was wrong. It was someone doing gravity research for the Department of Energy. And that's the one place I've been saying forever, Mike, that there's also part of the cover-up. Everyone looks to the DOD and all the military contractors, but no, if we're trying to go ahead and figure out the propulsion systems and what powers them, that's the DOE's territory, 100%. And they've got stronger declassification laws than what the DOD has. On that note, let's continue on. Here we go.
Are you able to expand on that at all?
In fact, I wish I'd taken that out. It wasn't until after it got shown that I realized it was in there. No, there's obviously nothing more than I can say. Mistakes get made. You see how red I'm.
Oh my God! Look at the smile on his face, Mike. Do you think that was really a wink, wink, their mistake?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. We love Gary Nolan, absolutely, 100%. Just saying that. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. To err is human, right?
That to forgive is divine.
Yeah,
yes, that's
there we
right.
go. Let's continue on. Let's see where it goes.
Because of that, I'm like, nobody complained about it, but yeah, I mean that's interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. I mean, you're saying it has some prominence. It has something behind it.
Oh, it has reality. I mean, it's yeah. But it was like that was a huge mistake on my part. Oh well. Oops.
There was that was the tail. Oops. That was the tell.
That's one hell of an oops.
Oh, you're telling me. Well, Mike, the next one we've got coming up here, we're gone for a full circle in a lot of different directions, but the next one we've got here, I tell you, it's a good one. Well, if there's one person who's known for saying it's a cover-up, that would be Representative Tim Burchett. And what do we have him here talking about? I think he's calling out a cover-up one more time, but he's got a lot of other good stuff to say. So let's see. This is coming to us from our friends over at the Benny Show, which I don't know, which means I'm going to go to video. Actually, desktop TV. Shit, I'm going to have to make it smaller. Sorry, I have to do it in the old television set just to be safe. You know what? Let's just put Tim big up here. For news reporting sake.
Better. Was this the interview where he's talking to Tim early in the morning in his office after the hearing?
I think so. Let's go ahead and bring up this thing and this little piece and listen in on Tim Burchett at the Benny Show. Here we go.
Does the federal government have in its possession crafts, DNA, or life that is not of this world?
I think, here's my opinion on it. They're smart enough to put it in the hands of other people outside of quasi-government. So it's into these, there's 5 or 6 contractors, and we've been given their names. And, you know, it's like they're going to tell us where they're at as soon as they announce it. You know, the U-Haul vans have already been there a week ago and moving whatever they got. I think where it's at, it's so compartmentalized, and so many people have died since some of this stuff has been collected, that probably the people that are looking at it right now do not realize what they're looking at. They're either been told it's a foreign entity, or it's a piece of, look like a piece of metal maybe that has some capabilities, and they still haven't figured out how to break it down. It's very similar to if say if you took an Indian motorcycle, a brand new Indian, back to the people who came in on the Mayflower, you know, they would see that and they would say, wow, that's pretty cool. They would never be able to adjust fuel injection. They wouldn't know how to get inside of it. They couldn't even make the fuel. They might get it started, but that'd be about it. And you know, and I think that's what we're looking at. I also think that we couldn't get to all the questions, but there are 5 deep sea areas. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do these areas. And Boebert scratched the surface of it. We only get 5 minutes, and you know, they don't want these answers brought out too much. There are 5 deep sea areas, and there's a lot more, as they call it, activity. And I've talked to some people off the record about that, and the ability for these things that we've seen in the video, the one video where they fly under the water and then come out, we have nothing of that capability. So I think we ought to look at that. The ability of something to fly, you know, as I state, every night I go out with my dogs. They go to the bathroom. They won't go to the bathroom when I go to bed. They got to go at 4 o'clock in the freaking morning. So I go out there and look at those stars. And the stars, the light from those stars literally left that star before the time of Christ. So, I mean, you're talking about the vastness of God's universe. It is beyond our mental capacity. So the ability for something to travel that far, I think, is very difficult. I think something could be here that is not of our origin.
Interesting so much. Which one? Here we go.
I'm Carl Sagan. Just how old is our planet? Scientists believe it's hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah, let me get out of here. Get back. Yeah, we have a bunch of fun video clips we can go ahead and play. Oh, where is it at? Yeah.
I'm here.
No, not that one.
Let the bells ring out and the banners fly. Feast your eyes on me.
All right, let's get back out of here. Get back into this next one. Where am I at? Desktop document. All right, Mike, let me get... Oh, no, too many different places. Let's get to this one right here. Next one we've got coming up. Well, believe it or not, Mike, we've got Anna Polina Luna coming up, talking about the hearing at Forbes Breaking News. Remember, Anna Polina Luna had said a while ago that we're going to be real happy with who was testifying at the hearing. Honestly, if you ask me, Mike, I think she was hinting at Lou Elizondo appearing.
He had to have been hinting at Lou. He was in the public at that point. His book tour was going on. That's what she meant by that, because of all of the publicity. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100% right about that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of communication about him not being asked, potentially being asked. I think I'm going to go with Anna Paulina for the win on that one. All right, so let's get into
I would agree.
Let's get into this next one. Here we go. Anna Paulina Luna at Forbes. Here we go. Let's kick it off.
I do not want to do a complete 180 here and talk about UFOs, UAPs, because UFOs used to be the talk of conspiracy theories. Now, really not so much. You participated in the House Oversight Committee's UAP hearing on Wednesday. What was your biggest takeaway? What did you learn that shocked you the most?
Well, fun note, did you know that Matt Gaetz, one of the founding members of the UAP caucus here in Washington, is now going to be the AG? Mike Waltz is now the National Security Advisor, also gavelled in to come to the UAP hearings. So, and then Marco Rubio has been a big advocate for disclosure, and he's now the Secretary of State. And so I think exciting things for our country in that regard. But, you know, look, I've always looked at it through a scientific lens and perspective. You know, when you have many people coming forward from the State Department, from NSA, from different government agencies, from the military, stating that UAPs are real, and then you have this aspect of technological advancements. For us, it is a national security issue to ensure that we know what's happening, but also, too, I think it's silly from a mathematical perspective and also a religious perspective to think that human beings are the only creation that God did create. And so, as you know, we have a big galaxy, and there's many galaxies out there. And so to put it in perspective, do I think we're alone? No. Am I very curious? Yes. Has it been fun to kind of help tailor and conduct these committees? Absolutely. And I think we're going to continue to push forward with more committees here into the 119th Congress. But what I will state is yesterday, you know, was I a little bit disappointed in some of the responses from the witnesses? Yes, we got some great stuff, but you know, I'm not interested in hearing about people's books. I'm interested in hearing about whether or not people can answer the questions, because we are trying to get this into the archives so that people have access to the information. And so I wish there was a little less pitching and more talking.
So where are you going to push this issue next? What do you think is the biggest question that you want an answer to?
You know, for me specifically, I always like to look at the evidence previously and then also kind of doing follow-up on what's happening. You know, having Waltz over as the National Security Advisor and then Rubio as the Secretary of State and now Matt as the Attorney General, I'm going to be asking if they have access to files that were previously denied. So that's next on the roster. It helps having a Rolodex that has a lot of people in a lot of important positions now at the head of state.
Interesting. Anna Paulina always has a lot of good things to say for disclosure, whether, let me get it back into here, whether it's in the news or on the front of Maxim magazine, Mike.
Oh, we talked about that on the previous show. Yeah, no, that's good. The Maxim magazine cover. She has two, actually, that are coming out. Two magazine episodes, one month after the other.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, let's see now. We've got another news clip that just came in today. Was it today? I think yesterday on this one. If you remember, there was a... is this the one? Played that one first already? Yeah, never mind. That was the one I played first. Let's skip that one. Let's now go down to the next one. After the hearing, Mike, I believe there was a gathering over in the Senate. There was a reception sponsored by the UAP Disclosure Fund that's had some interesting staffing changes lately. That we'll cover a little bit later on, potentially.
Right.
But there was a statement that came from Senator Mike Rounds. Now, here's the thing. Mike's making this announcement today and presenting Lou with a great document that's signed and framed and everything like that. And it's going to be wonderful. It's really going to mean something, not if he's at this little reception, but it's going to mean something if he's at the hearing on the 19th coming up with that Senator Gillibrand is holding with Aro. And because they're asking questions about what's been going on with Aro, where's it going to go? More importantly, they're also asking about what was going on in these UAP incursions that were happening over, wasn't that Langley Air Force Base? No. Or Wright-Patterson?
Yeah, Wright-Patterson.
Yeah. So it would be great if Senator Mike Rounds would attend and show some interest, because I think it's an important thing to be interested in, if you ask me. On that note, let me go ahead. Now, the audio may be a little quiet, audience. I will do my best for the audience to amplify this if I can. Let me figure out where this is. Oh, great. Come on. Work for me here. Work with it. Oh, this isn't working right. We'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and play it. I apologize, audience, if it isn't as good as it could be. Here we go.
Please welcome Senator Rounds. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. I prepared just a few remarks, and then I'd like to make a presentation. I was not expecting this size of a group. I'm happy to see that. It says curiosity is alive and well in the United States. For a number of years, I've been concerned about congressional oversight of matters related to UAPs.
Oh, shit, hold on a second. My video is not set up as I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going wrong with my system here. Sorry about this, everybody. Here we go. It's one of those days. A bunch of things are freaking out. Here we go.
Please welcome Senator Rounds. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunity. I prepared just a few remarks, and then I'd like to make a presentation. I was not expecting this size of a group. I'm happy to see that. It says curiosity is alive and well in the United States. For a number of years, I've been concerned about congressional oversight of matters related to UAPs. I believe Congress has the responsibility to exercise this oversight with an eye towards accountability by the executive branch of our national security, fiscal responsibility, and maybe most importantly, making sure our citizens are aware, within constraints of necessarily classified information, of government programs concerning UAPs. I can tell you from personal experience, this concern is a bipartisan one. For example, the Democrat leader in the Senate, Senator Chuck Schumer, and I have partnered on legislation to require significantly greater UAP-related disclosure by the executive branch. I believe this bipartisan approach can carry over into the next Congress and the next administration. During my 10 years as a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and over the last 2 years as a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I've become increasingly aware of stovepipes or silos that adversely affect information sharing, coordination, action, and, as a result, good national security policy. These silos do not only exist between national security agencies and between elements of the intelligence community. They also exist between congressional committees with jurisdiction for national security. As one of the very few Senate members who sits on both the Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, I am concerned about the silo between these two committees at the member and the staff levels. These silos can create all kinds of problems. One of these is preventing proper congressional oversight of UAP initiatives. I will continue working with my colleagues to overcome this interagency and intercommittee issue that can get in the way of what Congress needs to do with regard to UAP oversight. One aspect of required congressional oversight is making sure we are taking a science-driven approach to UAPs. We need to make sure that an executive branch priority is also a science-driven approach. Let me just close for just a second with regard to UAP-related legislation that we proposed and that we will be proposing. Last year, Senator Schumer and I offered a bipartisan UAP-related amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. It's the NDAA. It passes every single year. This amendment, which passed the Senate, was entitled the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Disclosure Act of 2023. The measure was directly modeled on the legislation Congress passed in the 1990s to to set up a process to declassify and release the records that the federal government had relating to the Kennedy assassination. Even now, 30 years later, some records are still withheld, but overall that process has been deemed very successful. While the measure was included in the Senate-passed NDAA, it was unfortunately dropped from the final version of the bill that was negotiated with the House, which opposed our language. What was enacted was the establishment of a UAP record collection in the National Archives, to which all records from all parts of the federal government are to be sent. Dropped was what would have been the creation of a records review board composed of eminent expert citizens with clearances nominated by the President and Senate confirmed. This board would have overseen the record review and declassification process to include identification of any conscious effort by an administration to withhold appropriate information from Congress or the public. Now, I look forward to continuing to work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to make the review board a provision of law. And finally, let me just say, I want to take a moment and I want to recognize Lou Elizondo's contributions to increase UAP transparency and congressional oversight. Lou, you came forward to me and the Intel Committee and provided the insights that I needed to develop the UAP legislation with Senator Schumer. You helped me to understand a couple of truths. Number one, the UAP issue is real and a potential national security concern. And number two, the U.S. government has not been transparent enough about what it knows. UAP transparency is a marathon. It took many decades to result in the status quo of overclassification, and it will likely take time to find the right balance between protecting our national security and an acceptable level of disclosure. Lou, in recognition of your contribution to UAP legislation in the last Congress, I would like to give you this framed red line of the UAP legislation that was. I'm sure they can ship that home for you. Thank you. Let me just say, look, thank you for the opportunity to share with you. And I think as I talked with everybody involved in this particular subject matter, those that have been directly involved, please understand the challenge that we have with regard to our national security challenges and in sharing what we know about things that really we don't know a lot about in some cases. All we know is that there is something that exists, whether it's ours or an adversary's or something else, we don't know. What we do know is that this phenomenon clearly exists and it's something that's not going to go away. So we just as well get in and learn as much about it as possible and let the public know what it is that we find out as well. Thank you.
There we go. Interesting conversation. Brian, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes, good evening, everybody. I can't help but just be repulsed by what I just heard. And this is 100% why we don't have a clean bill that him and Schumer could have introduced earlier in the year. This is a bunch of pat on the back BS. And this type of political speak and this, reading off notes and teleprompters, that era is coming to an end and that is done. I am just so repulsed by what I just heard there. That the JFK legislation was a success, that it took 30 some years for it to come out. I'm sorry, that's not going to cut the mustard anymore. I don't know if anybody else is incensed by this, but this is disgusting. This is not what we want. We're not going to wait 30 years. And I don't think, Thomas, you want to wait 30 years, or Mike, or anybody else here.
You know, Brian, you actually echo some of my initial sentiment on when they said they wanted to go, when the UAP DA first came around, and they said they wanted to go ahead and follow the Kennedy process, which was completely flawed, because what you had is you had the executive branch in cahoots with itself, where every single time it was coming up and they could possibly bring it out, what were they doing? Kicking the can down the road. Yeah. And last time it came around, it came to Trump, and Trump said, well, let's put it in for a couple more years. Let the next president decide. We got to the point where Biden could have declassified that document, saying, you know what he said? Nah, we're not even going to ask the future president. We're just going to indefinitely lock that information away.
You are exactly right. And you've been hitting on it, Thomas and Mike. You guys have been right on it. But I mean, these days are done. And I just can't imagine that even Lou would participate in this pat on the back type of stuff. This is not what any of us have signed up for. This is not what anybody else elected these people here for. So,
I don't think we've ever signed up for people being in Washington for lifetime careers.
Correct. And
the intention of our representatives in office for the Senate and the House of Representatives was to come in, do your time, go back to your life, and have a regular, if you want to call it not thoroughfare, but a regular mix of people coming in that represent the country at that time. But what we turned into, I hate to say it, and well, I won't even go there, is a country ruled from the retirement home in a lot of respects.
Yep. That's exactly right. We're going to get fresh blood. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But this kind of stuff just absolutely boils my blood. This is infuriating to even listen to. Rounds needs to go, period.
Yeah. It's part of that old boys club, to say the least.
Let me
Mike,
point out, Brian, real quick. As far as it being a success, he's completely full of shit. We still haven't gotten all of the JFK documents, so I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. Isn't that correct?
30 years. It's taken 30 years and we still don't have them all. How is that a success? You're exactly right, Mike. There's no, I mean, you wouldn't stand up for that in a business environment or anything else. And you wouldn't stand for it in your family or anybody else. There's no reason the American people should stand for this too. And you know, it's not just Rounds. I think Schumer's in on it too. And the fact that Lou, you know, I'm a little disappointed that Lou is here on this, but I kind of understand why. But there's just no reason for it. They could have had a clean bill from the majority leader Schumer and from Rounds, and this could have been brought out in January or February earlier this year. I mean, it's almost a year now.
Well, they could have also broken it. They could have also broken it down into a number of small bills, for that matter.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. So, anyways, I don't mean to get on the soapbox here, but this should be disturbing that this is coming out. It's absolutely infuriating, and they're going to need to get on a new path here, because this old language is trite, where they literally have contempt for the voters and the people. This is not going to fly anymore.
I don't think.
Let me. No, it's not. And let me point out real quick, Brian. You have to understand. Burchett did an interview recently after the hearing, and one of the points that he said that caught my attention was, he said that a majority of the people in Congress still do not take this topic seriously at all. They still joke with him about it. So, no, there's not going to be a serious effort moving forward for a bipartisan bill that's a standalone bill. They're not taking it seriously. That's, I think, at the heart of the problem with all of this right now.
Yeah, and this continually spirals down the path that we've gone on multiple times. It's going to have to come from the executive.
Yeah.
Thomas has been saying that the whole time. If there isn't support coming directly out of the executive branch, it's not going to move forward. He's right.
It's just a matter. Thanks for bringing that up, Mike. It's just a matter of reality. You have to step away from the details and look at the 10,000-foot view. And that 10,000-foot view says no matter what Congress is going to try and do and jump up and down, unless they go ahead and get their select committee on UAPs and have their church-style hearings, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to be able to reform anything now. I haven't heard who the head of the FBI is going to be, but I think we've got a dang good chance now of the CIA getting an enema.
With John Radcliffe.
Yeah,
I agree.
And CIA has been involved with the cover-up and recovery and everything else. More information about that is coming to light. It just shows, again, an executive branch agency. Laura.
Yes.
Campbell, you have your hand up, my dear lady.
Yeah, I was really upset when I heard that as well, about many Congress members still joke about it. I think what we need to do for Christmas is buy a few of them some books and maybe educate them a little. There's one I'd like to mention that I read. It dates back to 2019, and it's called Intersect. A former NASA astronaut breaks his silence about UFOs. Excellent read, including pictures. I recommend it. And also, I wanted to mention, I did a lot of remote viewing after the event. I tasked, the one person I wanted to look at was Mr. Gold. And this was the image we used.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because sometimes there's a bleed through when you tasked it. So we actually picked up on this gentleman, which I'll just say quickly, he was recording the entire thing. And then I went back to look at it. And he had a phone and he had it under his leg, and then he picked it up. It was kind of interesting. Mr. Gold, here's what I got. He was shown throwing a rock to kind of get you to look over there when there's really interesting stuff happening over here. So he has to hide stuff for self-preservation because he was threatened. And it was kind of like when you think of The Godfather, like type of threat, subtle, but like let him know that he better be careful. It was two agencies, 3-letter. One was CIA. The other, we couldn't get. I don't know enough about him, but does anyone know if he was in the military formerly? Could maybe let me know. There might be some relation. He knows to zip his mouth. NASA is about to have less power. Space Force is about to be more like NASA. So that's the one you need to be focused on. There's division from Space Force is proposed to make NASA obsolete, excuse me. And the Artemis program may not happen. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, thanks for that info. It's going to be interesting to see where NASA ends up. We know they're really good at spending money, just not so efficiently.
No.
2 words. Well, we'll just call it 1 word. Let's see if we can get this. It's also the name of Tim Senor's first UFO hunting RV, the Starliner. Oh, what a disaster. Yeah, what a freaking disaster. Oh my gosh. Where are we at? Mike, are we skipping the last topic tonight and talking about it after the show?
Yes, we are.
Okay, that's what I thought. Gosh, there was other stuff that had come up recently in Disclosure, God, that just happened just like yesterday. Can I remember right now? No, but that's okay. X is going to work here. Let's see if I can find it. I probably bookmarked it if it was important, but I haven't been on Twitter much today. There's just been a lot of drama and things going on and more things going on. Let's see if I got that one. Got the UAP hearing. We've got the... Okay.
Whatever it is, it's going to be the last piece for the show tonight.
Well, we got a little bit of Twitter space going on. Coming from Deedeen Johnson from yesterday, we talked about it, but the official announcement, the Senate Armed Services Committee posted a notice of a closed hearing, followed by an open hearing on November 19th. Quote, to examine the activities of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Oh, we can't see it here, can we? Let's go to this one. Oh, I don't need the Immaculate Deep Dive. Very top. Let's bring this back up. No, come on, you can do it. There we go. Coming to us from our friend Dee Dee Johnson over on Twitter. You love Dee Dee Johnson, don't you, Mike?
So much so that I blocked them. Yep, exactly.
All right, let's move on. Okay, to examine the activities of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office in emerging threats and capabilities. With Kirsten Gillibrand is going to be the chair. Hopefully Mike Rounds will be there. Let's see if I can get this down where we can see it a little bit easier. Move that down. Here's the official meeting scheduled. Yes, we've got a screenshot of that, but we can't see it so great. Hey, I'll do it that way. Here we go. Meeting scheduled. 3:15 p.m. Committee on Armed Services Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities. Well, they're doing this one even later, Mike.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, Thomas.
Yeah, we may have to cover this one in recap. To hold closed hearings to examine the activities of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to immediately be followed by an open session in SD-G50 SVC-217. So, all right, so that would be at 3:15 p.m. Eastern or 12:15 p.m. Pacific on a Tuesday this time, not on a Wednesday.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what else. Anything else popping up here that I've grabbed from things we haven't talked about? Something else to say about this is apparently David Grush previously declined to meet with Senator Gillibrand in the company of the then RO director, Sean Kirkpatrick. I did not know that one.
Yeah. Obviously, he wants to have nothing to do with Kirkpatrick. I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, he showed up again, and he's been throwing more. He's like a monkey who's working in a horse pen. And he likes to throw, and he's got a really good arm throwing all the time.
That's what it seems like.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. What else we've got here? Anything else going on in Twitterville? Let's just take a look at this. Looking for late breaking information, just so we're not going and shutting down the show before we miss everything. Hey, when did that fight start, Mike?
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe.
Yeah. 8 p.m. Eastern. Oh, it's already done then.
Let me see. I'll check real quick.
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm watching it right now. They're having one fight now, and then Jake Paul and Tyson is next.
Oh, so they've got an opening performance going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. On that note, Mike, what a great show! What a great opportunity to hang out with friends. Oh, Brian's got his hand up.
Yeah,
Brian,
I got
go
one more quick thing for the audience that may not have read the chat. Mike Rogers is under consideration for the FBI director position. That's according to the Yahoo News. He's been visiting Mar-a-Lago and stuff too. So that would not be a good thing if Mike Rogers gets in any position of
And
further
what position
power.
again?
To replace Christopher Wray as the FBI director.
Yeah, that's fine. We've already got the person we need in the CIA.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
correct. But we don't need these snakes anywhere near anything.
No, they're supposed to be going ahead and taking out the trash, not bringing it in.
Exactly. Good point.
Correct. I just wanted to bring that up. That was according to Yahoo News. So
Cool,
I'll take it for what it's worth.
Thank you very much in covering that one little piece. And anything else? No, nothing else is happening in the world right now. Yeah, the world's attention is focused on the fight. Clearly it is. Yeah. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. More importantly, I want to thank some people who threw out some super chats our way. One I can't throw up on the screen and say thank you to her is Laura. Oh gosh, Laura Campbell. My mind is out. Thank you for that $20 super chat to start off the day. Another one coming in from Rick Roberts. Holy cow, Freezer Man. And then Wildcat Mahone. Wow. Thank you for your love and support. Remember, every dollar that goes into Disclosure tonight, it goes back into our production fund. I am so humble and thankful for everyone's love and support of everything we do here and supporting bringing you the facts about Disclosure. And remember, if you haven't given us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs up. Still got about 200 people, 68 likes. If they haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe on that one. Wow, what a great conversation. What a great family it feels like. It's better than family because you can't choose your family on that note. On that note, I also want to thank everyone from the chat. Who am I talking about? I want to thank Anonymous Rex, Bradley, Delta Echo, Digger Dog, Eric Roth, and the Gurus just threw us $14.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Eric. Eric Roth and the Gurus, Evan B, Firefly, Frank Einstein, J-Cat, John Smith, Kelly Brode, good to see you, and those piercing blue eyes, Kelly, King Bull, Lord Malphus, Marcus Mandel, Badger's been around, Lord Malphus, Pete Liebel. Little testy tonight, Pete, but that's okay. Shelly Montgomery, True Seeker, Wildcat Mahone, and Yankee 58. Thanks for coming in, everybody. More importantly, I also want to go ahead and thank the people who've been hanging out in the back, throwing out some good questions. Who am I talking about? Oh, Andy W., thanks for being here tonight, my friend. Thanks for being brave enough to raise your hand.
That's fine. That's if I've got something to ask, I'll stick my hand up. Most of the time it's a blank, but hey.
Exactly. Again, thank you for coming out here today, my friend. I also want to thank Brian Pemble. Thanks for popping in. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Happy Friday. I'm sorry for the soapbox, but it's very important stuff, guys. So I just wanted to bring it out there.
I know people don't like politics, but if we're going to get Disclosure, Brian, it's going to involve politics.
Oh, and I hate it too, basically.
I deal with it. It's not so bad. Could be worse. I tell you, it could be worse. This brings it back. Nope. All right. Who else do we have in the back? Who said raise your hand today? Oh, Laura Campbell. Thanks for coming out today, my dear lady.
It's always fun, Thomas. I look forward to it. Can't make Saturday's show. Going to be on the road, but I do have some more remote viewing to do. Carter's Library, I want to look at some stuff. And I do have some other stuff to share when we get together Monday. Monday.
Awesome.
Yep.
On that note, well, that comes back to Mike, Disclosure. Thanks for coming out today, my friend. What a great opportunity to hang out. Talk about UFOs.
Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff for the week. We also had the hearing coverage that we did for 5 hours on Wednesday. So, we've been real busy lately on the show. It's been fun.
And last week, I got to talk for 2 shows of 2 hours nonstop in each show.
You did, and you made it look easy, and I give you credit for that.
Yeah, and Mocha's wants more cookies on that note. And as we usually say at the end of every episode, a Disclosure tonight. Eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone, but...
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely, we'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Y'all come back now here. Bye-bye.